Hey Top Senders, how's it going? Sorry it's been such a long time since I've got an episode out, but here I am. Had some computer difficulties, I'm now back. New recording system, new editing software as well, so things might be a bit but let's just roll straight into this. Over the last few weeks we've been showing cards from Emerald Break, the next set to come out in Japan, previewing, bringing to us, obviously, as the name Emerald would imply, new Rayquazas. And note I say Rayquazas. We're actually getting 2 Rayquaza X's and 2 Rayquaza Mega X's. We actually hop across to them. First we have our initial Rayquaza X. Features 2 attacks, 170 hit points, lightning weakness, fighting resistance, and a retreat cost of 2. First attack, double colours, Mega Awakening. Search your deck for a Mega Rayquaza card, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck. Nothing too special, nothing too awesome. For 4 colourless, Aero Scream, 130 damage, flip a coin, if tails, you discard 2 energy. That's not too bad. I'm gonna say though that this card is a little lackluster just with some of the other stuff that's been brought to us in the set, and I'll get to that shortly. So let's move on to its counterpart, the other Rayquaza X. Once again, 170 hit points, lightning weakness, retreat cost of 2, fighting resistance. For 1 colour you can use Rising Burn, which is 10 damage, plus if your opponent's Pokemon has any damage. Plus, if your opponent's Pokemon is a Pokemon X, you do an additional 50 damage. So, in this format, 1 energy, 60 damage. Not too bad actually, I kind of like that. 1 for 60, always a good thing to see. For 3 colourless, Dragon Pulse, 100 damage, discard 1 card from the top of your deck. Not the best attack, but once again, going to get into why you're not really going to be looking at Rayquaza X's. Out of the 2, I prefer the second one, just for that 1 for 60. It's a nice little thing to have. You can just go attach any energy and just poke away to 60. It's always very nice to have. So, this is the big focus for me. Mega Rayquaza X. Standard Mega Claws, if one of your Pokemon becomes Mega Evolution, your turn ends. It has the first of our 2 Delta abilities. Delta Evolution. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, even if that Pokemon was put into play this turn, or it's your first turn. So, long story short, it's Broken Time Space as a trait. For anyone who doesn't know, there used to be a card called Broken Time Space. It would allow you to evolve a Pokemon that just come into play, or if it was your first time turn, you could still evolve then. Mega Rayquaza with Delta Evolution is saying the exact same thing. Before going further, it's got 220 hit points, lightning weakness, resistance to fighting again, and a retreat cost of 1, which is always very nice. Its attack, for 3 colourless, Emerald Break, the set's namesake. 30 damage for each of the Pokemon on your bench. So, full bench, 150 damage, 3 energy, not too special. You got Muscle Band, you make 170, Laser with Muscle Band, or Laser and Burbank. You put those 2 together, you got 180, so you can one-shot some basic X's. It's not bad to see. But this isn't where the card stops. The card gets a lot better from here. Also, that blurring is actually the scan quality, not recording quality. So if we actually scroll through, I'll cut here and I'm back. Okay, next new card to actually add to the set. The one that's really going to be the real grab for this. Emerald Break does 150 damage on full bench. Here we have Skyfield. Skyfield, as you can see, is a stadium card. Both players can have up to 8 Pokemon on their bench. For those who aren't as mathematically sound as the rest of us, that's 8 times 30. Well, 3 times 8 is 24. Add a 0 on the end of that. That's 240. You also do 240 damage for 3 colours on a Mega Evolution that can bring itself into play turn 1. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Especially when we scroll down here and we see Rayquaza's got a Spirit Link. Rayquaza actually has a way to say, I can Mega Evolve straight away and I don't lose my turn. So the hard part is getting 3 energy in 1 turn. Thing is, you can make this sustainable. You can turn around and say, here's the Fairy Engine. Just gonna use Aromatisse, move that energy away, Max Potion, move the energy back, continue swinging, continue one-shotting. It's all pretty good stuff. Also got Steven here. Search your deck for a support card and a basic energy. Reveal them, put them to your hand, shuffle your deck. Not the best card, not the worst card either. It's effectively Steven, you could play it a lot. Effectively with Steven you can play it the way that quite a few people had to play Skylar. Skylar, you wanted to go and get your item cards, but it could grab you your supporters, so this hand doesn't have an N or a Juniper in it. I'll use Skylar, grab the Juniper for next turn. There you go. Steven is pretty much saying, I'm dedicated to grabbing the Juniper, or in this case it's going to be grabbing the Sycamore, or grabbing the N, or grabbing whatever card you need to actually play next turn. But that's not going to be a focus for this episode, mostly because this the Emerald Break set keeps on getting better. As we're now here, I'm going to get to her in a second. I have first got to show you Shaman X. Basic Pokemon, 110 hit points, lightning weakness, fighting resistance, retreat cost of 1, ability, setup. Once during your turn, before you attack, when you play this Pokemon onto your bench, you may draw cards until you have 6 in your hand. For more veteran players, this will sound incredibly familiar, because it's Uxie. Back in Legends Awaken, we got our hands on an Uxie, 70 hit point basic, play it onto the bench, draw until you have 7 cards in your hand. For a Colorless Energy, you could do 20 damage and put itself back in the deck, so you could keep recycling it. Let's see what Sharon's attack is. Double Colorless, Sky Return, 30 damage. Return this Pokemon and all cards attached to it to your hand. Well, if you plan to actually track this guy up, you best be planning to knock it out now. You can't just say, bring your Shaman out, I'm going to try and make you burn your attachment by making a retreat. I'm just going to attach a double Colorless, I'm going to spin this guy to my hand. Next turn I'm drawing more cards. This is, it takes the best of what Uxie was and he just runs with it. I wouldn't be surprised if Shaman itself becomes a semi-feasible deck. You just actually set your bench up with a handful of good wallers. You know, you've got Sigilyph or Suicune for turning around and saying, here's a Safeguarder. You've got stuff like Latios that can turn around and say, well, I'm just going to sit here and I can't be hit by X's. No, sorry, not X's. Can't be hit by anything that's got an ability. Or you could just go, here's a Trevenant, you can't play trainers. Basically, you know, any of the hit and run decks. Basically, how are people playing Donphan now? This is a basic Donphan. This is a basic Donphan that draws you cards every turn. It's going to be the same as it's like the old Shuppet, it's like the current Donphan. It's basically a case of put this down, draw cards, put down, so bring it into the active position, make sure I've got a good water on my bench. Going to attach a muscle band to this. Here's 50, return everything to my hand, bring down my wall. Just going to keep doing this, turn after turn after turn, hope you don't mind. The Shaman itself could be a deck, but right now, it just turns around and says, Rayquaza, it's too good. Because of, and we'll finally get into it, when I can find her again, this girl here, Winona. Winona allows you to search your deck for 3 colourless Pokemon, put them in your hand and shuffle your deck afterwards. That Shaman we just looked at is colourless. Both the Rayquaza X's are colourless. are colourless. The Mega Rayquaza X that has the ability to Mega Evolve the turn it's added to your hand is colourless. Winona, Rayquaza, Shaman. Play down the Rayquaza, attach its Spirit Link, Mega Evolve without losing your turn, Shaman. Draw cards. Where'd you go minus on this? Where's the minus? It's basically, here's a beat stick, here's a draw engine. All of this off one supporter. Normally a supporter will turn around and say, yo, you better get your supporter is, okay, here's Sycamore. Drop my hand, draw 7 cards. I can do stuff with this hand. You normally use your supporter, get the cards to draw. You draw into the cards you use. This is a case of your supporter is grabbing the cards to use, and then you get to draw more. And I'll be honest, this combination here, when you can just go straight into your Rayquaza, when you've got the Shaman for more draw power, when you've got Winona to recruit all 3, when you've got Skyfield to turn around and say, I can overstack the bench so I can one-shot everything in the format. I mean, with this Shaman, with it being everything being colourless, with everything being, colourless and flying type, with the ability to instantly Mega Evolve, with the ability to draw more cards, with the ability to get that kind of damage output for 3 energy. Normally an attack that turns around and says anywhere near 150 towards 200, it's normally 4, 5 energy, and the card becomes unplayable. This is Rayquaza, it's asking 3 energy. You can max potion this guy. It works with the fairy engine. Where does this stop being a good deck? I mean, what stops it? Let's see, there's Mega Man Trick, who isn't seeing too much success right now. It came forward, we've had league challenges, we've had a couple of cities where it's come forward, it's actually done stuff, but that was straight after it was released, so there was a lot of hype, everyone thought it could do a lot, so it had a decent turnout. That's why people played it. That's why it actually showed up on the radar in a couple of areas in the States, because a lot of, there's a lot of hype behind it. When you've got the hype, people are going to play the card. When people play the card, it's going to actually do the thing. So, okay, Mega Metric, that could come back, that could actually do something against this. Seismitoad, perhaps? It doesn't lose anything against this deck. It slows it down, it can try and stop things with Skyfield. It's got the hammers, but it has to bring the A-game. For Seismitoad to work, it actually has to hit a hammer every turn. Now, I know, if you're a Toad player, then you understand that's not a hard thing to do. You don't have to worry about going, oh, get rid of your energy attachment, get rid of your attachment, get rid of your attachment. You can do that turn after turn after turn after turn after turn. I understand that, I've seen how Toad works. But you have to do that every single turn. You don't do that every turn. Your opponent can just eventually set up. Because they don't need to load up one Rayquaza, and then load up another Rayquaza, and then load up a third Rayquaza. As soon as you miss a turn getting detachments on them, they can start to push back. You miss 2 turns of detachment in a row. All they have to do is see double course. And they can just go, get rid of the Seismitoad. Get rid of the Seismitoad. So it's a case of, you miss detachments for 2 turns. That's 2/3 of your game gone. And yeah, early game, you're fine. If you see Lysander's last resort, then your mid game might be fine. Your opponent gets into the late game because remember, your damage output isn't high. There is going to be a late game, and if your opponent gets into that late game, you're going to start running out of hammers. Your hammers are going to become less frequent. They're going to be, and heaven forbid you miss one. Heaven forbid you get that Tails on Crushing Hammer. Last Crushing Hammer, you get Tails. It's good night, Irene. It's GG. Hey, Lysanders gets prized. What do? Your mid game is gone. So Toad can beat it, but it needs to bring the A game. It has to hope that the prizes don't kill it. It has to hope that the hammers don't miss. You need heads every turn, and you have to hope it's on your first hammer. You have to use 3 hammers to get rid of 1 detachment. Well, that's about half of your utility against this deck gone. And as I said, it doesn't have to load up 1 Rayquaza, then another. It can just load up this one. Do I have the max potion? No. Retreat it, bring out the other one, move the energy across. I'll max potion this later. Keep going, keep swinging, keep doing the damage. I've got 8 slots on my bench. I don't have to worry about bench sitters clogging up space. I want the bench sitters. I want that space to be full. I want to one-shot you hard. In fact, they only need 6. They just need the 6th guy. They don't need 8. So they can go, here's a bench sitter, here's another bench sitter. They can take your Slurpuff. You know, they can take Slurpuff that's in your deck and say, I'm going to draw more cards. They can accelerate their deck amazingly. You might run out of steam. Rayquaza doesn't need steam. It is basically, it's self-powering. It just turns around and says, boom, there you go. Come on, bring it back. Right. Anyway, I think I've gone on enough about how powerful Rayquaza is, about the matchups it gives. I'm yet to think of anything that could actually turn around and really cause a problem for Rayquaza. Mega Man Electric probably going to be the biggest problem for it. If it built up any momentum, it will just go, I one-shot you instead of you one-shotting me. Now I'm going to set up another one. Another one-shot. Here's another one set up. Going to go with this. Oh, you knocked out my first one. Here's the second, GG. Okay, that can kind of work. But to be honest, I can see Rayquaza, well, Mega Rayquaza X, being the card that defines the format. And I should really have switched this back to me, so control. So yes, as I said, it's going to be a case of Mega Rayquaza is pretty much a card to define the format. It's going to turn around and say, do you counter me? Do you slow me down? Do you stop me? Yes? Then good for you. You've got a format. Do you stop me? Do you prevent me being one bombed? Can you do something to stop this absolute steamroller? If not, then probably you don't really have a format, do you? I don't think Rayquaza is going to be the be-all and end-all. I don't think it's going to be in the entire format. I'm not saying it's a one-deck format, but I'm going to be honest that Mega Rayquaza X is going to be the card that will shape the format. I can see the format changing its way for this. I can't see Genesect Virizion touching it at all. Plasma, that's not been a thing for a while. Donphan, well, this resists Donphan. Donphan's damage output isn't high to start with. It works off being able to hinder you. There's only so much hindering you can do before you get outplayed, or your opponent's just going to go Donphan, Lysander, kill it. And to go against Donphan, you don't even need the Skyfield. So Yeah, as I said, this is probably going to be a deck this is going to be a card or a deck that actually shapes the format. Oddly enough, the Shaman idea I mentioned a short while back might actually be a counter if you can find something that stops Mega Rayquaza. Safeguard perhaps stops it. Then again, there's Mega Diancie, which turns around and says, I attack, X's can't do anything to me, and I believe it's worded as an effect on the field, not on Diancie. I'll have to double check that one. But anyway, until next time, I've been Rise with Joey. You guys are top percent. Peace.